Okay, here is another wonderful effect by Werner Miller, and I'll add a link in the description below to an ebook that contains not only this effect, but many others that you can take a look at. Okay, so for this effect, we just need ace through 8 of any of the 4 suits. It actually doesn't matter. So why don't we go with diamonds, let's say. So we just need ace, ace through 8. See if there's a 7. Okay, so just looking through, ignore the 10 of diamonds. So ace through 8, there's an ace. 5, man, where are they? They're all over the place. There's an 8. Doesn't that feel like that's enough? That must be 8 by now. Let's take a look here. So do we have 8 through ace of diamonds? We do indeed. Okay, great. Now, what I need from you is a random number between 1 and 15. Now, since you're not here, we're going to use a die roll to generate that number. Now, this particular die is 20-sided, so if we roll a number bigger than 15, we'll just roll again. Okay, so let me give it a roll. 5. Do you see that? So 5 is our randomly chosen number between 1 and 15. Okay, so that's our special number. So what we're going to do here, as you'll see, is we're going to mix these cards thoroughly face up and face down. In fact, to a degree that no one could possibly know where anything is at the end. And you'll see that, and that's primarily because you will be making all of the important choices. And so none of us could anticipate ahead of time what choices you would make. So I think to begin to flip things face up and face down, why don't we just flip a couple of cards there, and then I'll do a random cut, and then maybe flip the top 2. Oh, now, what this is here, let me just explain what I'm doing. I'm randomly cutting the cards and then flipping the top 2, setting them back down on top. Okay, that's important. Okay, random cut, flip 2. This is called the Hummer Shuffle. Okay, and I will add a link in the description below to the Hummer Shuffle. And it's a powerful way. In fact, you can flip any even number of cards. It doesn't have to be 2. It could be 2, 4, 6, 8. Well, 8 wouldn't be too exciting because that's all the cards we have. Okay, so I'll add a link in the description below to the Hummer Shuffle and the Hummer Principle. But I do need to alert you to the fact that the Hummer Principle is a powerful and deep mathematical card principle. Okay, so I won't be able to explain all of the underlying mathematics here. That's why I have a series that I'll link in the description below. But if you just perform the mechanics that I did there with a random cut, flip 2 or 4 or 6, it will work for you. You can also do what's called a table Hummer Shuffle. So this is where you push off the top 2 and you ask the spectators, should I leave the cards as is or flip them before I set them down? They might say flip. Okay, what about these 2? Flip those as well. Okay, what about these 2? Leave. What about those 2? Flip. These are all choices that are freely being made by the spectator. Now we can do it for 4 cards as well. Any even number, leave or flip. 1 flipped. What about the remaining 4? Leave. Okay. In addition to that, since the odd numbers are kind of feeling left out, we can actually deal to the table any odd number of cards. You don't have to, but if you'd like to incorporate this as further mixing, that would be fine. You ask the spectator for any random odd number between 1 and 8. Okay, so maybe they'll say 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, if I can count. Maybe they'll say 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Maybe they'll say 5. That's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And maybe they'll say 1. 1's an odd number, so that's just fine. Okay. So any of that mixing I did with random cuts, flipping an even number of cards in hand, or flipping any even number of cards to the table with the spectator deciding, or the dealing out of odd numbers of cards, you can perform all of those actions as many times as the spectator likes, okay, until they're convinced that no one could know where anything is. Okay, and so to finish, all you do is you just deal out the cards into 2 piles, like so. okay? And then you randomly flip either one on top of the other. So why don't we go ahead, I think I'll go ahead and just flip the right one on top of the left. Okay, so where has that brought us, okay? Well, where have all of those random choices, many if not most of them made by you, the spectator, where has that brought us? I don't know. Let me move this down so we keep going off the pad there. So do you see anything interesting here? We have an ace and a 4 of diamonds facing up. Do you recall our randomly chosen number? Wasn't it 5? What does an ace and a 4 add to? Where we designate an ace as a 1 normally. 1 plus 4 is 5. So I don't know if you have an explanation for how all of that chaos with the cards and random flipping and stacking and cutting of the cards could possibly lead to 2 cards facing up that just happen to add to your freely and randomly chosen number. How in the world did we do that working together? Okay, so let me just explain to you kind of how I did this quickly here. Okay, in fact, I'm going to bring a write-up over. This will just take a minute to explain what I did. Okay, so let's say given the spectator's freely chosen number n between 1 and 15. So what I've done here is I've listed powers of 2. So 2 to the 0 is 1, 2 to the first is 2, 2 squared is 4, 2 to the third is 8. Okay, now every number between 1 and 15 can be written as a unique sum of one or more of these numbers. So all I did, well, first off, let me just point out that 1, 2, 4, 8. Okay, so these are our powers of 2. So every number between 1 and 15 can be written as a sum of these cards here, or those values, okay? Now the remaining cards are over here, okay? So to begin this, all I did was I started with these 4. These are going to be our building blocks for the spectator's freely chosen card. I just mixed them within each group. You can randomly stack the groups. It doesn't really matter. And now we want these cards to alternate between one of these and the remaining 4 cards. Now, a nice way to do that is to perform a Klondike shuffle. Now, you can just set up the alternation yourself. You don't have to use a Klondike shuffle if you don't want. The key is you want these card values alternating with respect to the remaining ones. So here in position 1, I have 2. And then you skip 1, I have 8, skip 1, I have 4, skip 1, I have ace. Okay, so those are alternating right now. Okay, so we want that. And then all I did was I took the deck and I just kind of distributed these, every card or 2 or 3, maybe a couple of cards there, in the top third of the deck. Okay, so you might wonder why that. Well, you'll see. Okay, so we just have the ace through 8 of diamonds kind of in the top third of the deck. Okay, now what this allows you to do is, as long as you break off, half or more of the cards, you're free to shuffle these, riffle shuffle these. Okay, now all that does is it spreads out those cards that we've just placed, the ace through 8 of diamonds, but it maintains the relative order. Okay. So the special order that we want, that we started with, will be preserved. Okay, so now you just go through and you just grab, without changing their relative order, all of the diamonds, just like this. Okay, looks like some of them got put way down here, which is fine. Okay, should be getting close. I think that's all of them. Oh, one more maybe. Okay, so that should be 8 of them there. Okay, and so these are the very cards in the specific ordering that we wanted, or more precisely, they're in the same order relative to each other. Okay, So that's what we needed. Okay, and now all we need to do is, given a random number between 1 and 15, we just need to, let me bring back my write-up really fast. What we do is, like, we got 5 in the performance, right? So what I thought in my mind, I have this list of numbers that make up any number between 1 and 15. Well, I just crossed out the numbers that add to 5. What numbers among these will give me a sum of 5? Well, it's going to be 1 and 4 add to 5. The remaining cards are the ones that I flip and put them back where I took them from, where I got them from. Okay? So in this packet, you can just explain that we're going to be kind of flipping cards here to a tremendous degree, and that's actually the case. So to begin that process, why don't we flip, let's say this one, that's the 8, put it back where you got it from. The 2, flip that one there. And then you can immediately just go into like a random cut, flip 2. This is the Hummer shuffle. Okay, random cut, flip 2, random cut, flip 4 if you like, or 6. Okay, so this is what's explained in the link below to the Hummer shuffle. You can also deal odd number of cards. There's 3 to the table. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that won't hurt anything that we hope to accomplish. You can also do a Hummer mixing to the table, leave or flip. Okay, what about this one? Leave, flip, leave. And then you can do it for 4 or 6 cards. Okay, then once the spectator is convinced that the cards are really just beyond the knowledge of anyone, which is absolutely true. We don't know exactly where anything is. What you do is you randomly stack and flip either one. The spectator can decide. So maybe we'll randomly flip this one and set it on top. Okay. Now there's just 2 possibilities here. Either the cards that you want are facing up, namely the ace and the 4, which add to 5, or if it happens to be the case that the cards got flipped this way, which is perfectly fine, all you do is you just draw the spectator's attention to the down-facing cards. You can say, can you see which cards are missing? You know, can you figure out what cards are face down? And they'll look through and go, well, there's no ace, so ace is one of these, and there's no 4. Okay, so there must be an ace and a 4. So you can flip that over for confirmation. And then remind them, what was the random number that you freely chose between 1 and 15? And they're going to say, well, it's 5. Do you see anything interesting here? And most likely on their own, they're going to recognize that, wait a second, see, ace is normally a 1 plus 4. How in the world are the cards that are facing the opposite way to all of the others just happen to add to my randomly chosen number of 5? And you can just say, I don't know. That's why they call it magic. There's just no explanation for it. Okay, so this is a great effect by Werner Miller. It has kind of 2 routines that are married together. And so if you want to learn more about the Hummer principle, look in the description below. And if you want to see Werner's original ebook of card effects, from which this one's taken, click on that link as well. So thank you for watching, and take a look at other videos on the Absolute Math Magic channel.